Is that MisaMisaVR?
What's up, Juggalos? It's me, your boy, MisaMisaVR, MisaMisa, CB, Talon, Curry Butt, whatever you want to call me. We're here. We're eating. It's time for some food. You know why? Because today we're talking about this video game, Cook Serve Delicious 3. Hey, can I do the number 3? Am I smart enough to do 3? 3? I'm a thumb counter, so it's hard for me in VR because I do 1, 2, and then 3 just doesn't exist. 3 doesn't exist no matter what. Cook Serve Delicious 3. So, Cook Serve Delicious is a series of games about cooking, serving delicious food. You cook it, you serve it, and it's delicious. You cook, serve, delicious. You know, you run a little restaurant in a big high-rise, and it's this little restaurant at first, and you grow it bigger and bigger, and you're in the sky, you're in the skyscraper up, you know, and but you know, you're dealing with the office workers, you're dealing with visitors to the office, you're dealing with people just coming off the street who want to eat, and you grow the restaurant over time, you know, further levels, and that was 1 and 2, and you know, that's what you do. It's a game about basically high precision and quick speed with your fingers. It's not like a typing game, which are also fun, especially for Zoomers. None of you can type. I type 130 words per minute about, with very few mistakes. That's from those official things. It's from the shitty internet ones too. But I had a test years ago for one of those real ones. It was like 120, 125. I don't remember. But anyway, I type faster than you, better than you. Just like everything else in life, I'm superior to you. But in this case, it's about... So, like, you'll have a bunch of orders on the side, you got some stuff on top, and you're doing the orders as they come in. It's exciting. It's high stress, usually. There's some calm moments where it's nice and relaxed. You know, you can do a relaxed mode too, but the game overall is like this very stressful... You're doing all this shit really quick. And then you're burping. And, you know, I found out about it through Ryan Davis doing a quick look back when Giant Bomb was still good. And before he was dead.
Ugh. Whoa, what? I don't like the one who says delicioso.
Yeah, it's because you're a racist.
And then it seems really fun. And then obviously they have that tribute to him with the Ryan Davis, I forget what it's called, like the Davis burger or something. There's a cheeseburger named after him, and that's nice. But anyway, that got a lot of people's interest, including mine. I'm fogging up. I never fog up, but the humidity is really bad today. Cook Serve Delicious 1 was really good. Cook Serve Delicious 2 was a even better, like they upgraded a lot. There was a few things I can't remember what, but I think there was a few things in 2 I liked a little less. But for the most part, 2 is just an overall upgrade. It's a way better like overall experience. There's way more food. There's way more this and that, and it turned out to be a better game for it. But 1 and 2 are both really good games. Now 3 is as far as I know, it's the newest one. I think they're making another one, Cook Serve Forever, I think. I don't think that's out yet. I don't know. The Cook Serve Delicious 3 is, right now at least, I don't know if this video will be out by the time, I don't know if I edit it by then. But Cook Serve Delicious 3 is free for now on the Epic Game Store, so I downloaded it. Because I like the first 2 games, so I was like, why not? And, so, first off, 3 is instead of being in the high-rise, it's a food truck game, which is weird. I kind of understand, because like, oh, food trucks, I have to wipe my headset. No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep talking. Deal with the fog in my eyes. So Cook Serve Delicious 3 takes place in a food truck instead of a restaurant, which could be fine, could be okay, but it suffers for it because you end up in this really claustrophobic situation where the entire game you just feel like there's a very small point of like everything else is the truck. In the other games you had this big nice open layout of your whole restaurant, you know, you had like this big open restaurant, the kind of thing. But in this one you have this tiny little window that is most of the time gated off with the window, you know, like covered, it's closed. And like 90% of the levels, 90% of each level, it is closed for 90, like almost the entire time of that level. And it kind of sucks. It feels claustrophobic. It feels stupid. It feels boring and bland. And like, it feels like you're in prison, like serving your sentence, having to deal with making food and then serving it. It doesn't feel as open and free, even in a game that has always been high stress and stuff. It does something bad to it. It makes you feel locked in the whole time, and it makes it unenjoyable. Like, I think that is a big part of what's bad about this game. Even I'm gonna get to some worse stuff, but I think starting off right away, that was just a bad decision on their part to do the food truck thing, because it doesn't work for this game. You're sitting there staring at your monitor, pushing keys constantly. You want to look at something better. You don't want to look at the interior, the metal sides of a truck. You want to look at, I don't know, the world, and even what you see outside the windows slits, because it's not a fully window, it's like a metal bars, which makes it even more prisoner-ish, is just a blurry mess of shit because you're driving. You're being driven around. And it makes, there's nothing, like, in Kickserve Delicious 1 and 2, especially 2, I don't remember 1 as much because it's been a while. You have, when you get all the customers, and you actually notice the customers and notice each different one looking the way they do. And you notice, and then 2, you go to all these different restaurants to cook. You have your own one too, you customize and everything, which is also really fun. And you get to customize it. The chairs, the lights, the walls, what's on the walls, the window size and style, the tables. You get to customize all that. Where the tables are, where this is at, where that is at. And this, all you get to do is slap shit on it, on the interior, like stickers and little flags. We'll get to that in a minute. But here, that's all you do, and all you see is this tiny little rectangle window with shit blurring by. But in those, you get to see all these different restaurants, and it's exciting. It's interesting. You want to go to each restaurant, each different level. Well, they have levels within them. So like you'll have, McDonald's wannabe, and it'll have like 10 levels, and you'll have like a Wiener Schnitzel wannabe, and it'll have like 10 levels, and you have like a fancy restaurant 10 levels. But each restaurant has its own whole layout and whole design. It doesn't change the gameplay, but it makes it interesting and fun to be like, oh, I wonder what that one's going to be like. I want to go to that one. I want to see what that one's like. Is it a Japanese? Is it going to have, the squids and the shit going on in the back? Is it going to look like this? Is it going to be some fancy Japanese thing with koi jumping around? Or is it going to be, Taco Bell? Or what's it going to be? And it was always themed to be like the food would be, and what the kind of clientele would be like. And it was always fun and exciting to be like, I'm going to unlock that one now. I wonder what that one's going to be like. Or I want to unlock that one, so I'm going to work harder on these other levels to get more of the things to unlock it. And it gave you motivation to progress and stuff like that. And it always had something new to look at visually, something pleasing. Not a tiny window with silver all around, gray, covering everything about the window and most of the window also. And just seeing blurry shit. And then every now and then seeing a shitty construction site. So visually, this game is a big downgrade, and including in the gameplay aspect of how it feels to be playing, because you feel locked up. That comes from, one, the food truck option, not the option we make, but the option the developer made to make it a food truck. But it also comes from the fact that this game, for some reason, none of them have had this, but this game specifically, for some reason, decided to go with, oh, let's have a story. And the story is this dumb shit about America was in a war on its own territory, and like everything's fucked and blown up, and the old restaurant from 1 and 2 gets destroyed because lefties can not help themselves but destroy our history and destroy good things and destroy our culture. So even this video game has to destroy the culture and history it's created, because why not? So we have this stupid fucking food truck in this world where America's all fucked up and recovering from, I'm going to assume, losing a war, because this game probably hates America. And it starts off with these 2 shitty-ass voice actresses playing these robots. And let me tell you, they aren't just shitty voice actresses. One of them went by, for the credits, had their fucking, like, I'm assuming their YouTube username because it was just a stupid made-up word instead of a human being's name, and it wasn't like. At least be a little professional if you're gonna try to do video like voice acting. Use your real fucking name or use an alias, not, you know, Weed Smoker 420 Sephiroth. I don't know. Do anything but that. It's fucking stupid, and you don't deserve a job anywhere. You might as well have a face tattoo. And they suck. And they find the tower all blown up, and they take you and they start the food truck with you. And they are constantly annoyingly saying stuff randomly. Like, every time you stop the truck to... It's stupid. So the story sucks and had no reason to exist. I don't know if it goes anywhere eventually, but I don't care. But because... So this is all tying into the same issues. It's like, it all combines to be this big issue. Everything that's with the problem with this game. Because all of that because each decision leads to the next decision having to be made because of that last one. You know, you have the whole story be about your tower's blown up and the world's, you know, America's crumbling. Then you are forced to have a food truck as your place. And then the food truck has to be dystopian. But it's not really presented like it's supposed to be a dystopian food truck. It just feels that way. It's oppressive. It's very oppressive. And you know, you're like in jail practically. But it's not trying to say that either. And also when you're driving around, like there's flashing lights everywhere, just for no reason. There's cop lights going by for no reason. There's other lights going by for no reason. There's the stop thing blasting across the screen. There's red and blue lights over like the time or whatever. I forget, but something in the corner. It's just constant. Everything's flashing and blasting and just, it's ridiculous. Like it's for ADHD kids. It's not, it's retarded. And then, see, those ideas, those choices that this developer made all continue to lead to more problems. The next problem is the food truck thing leads to, again, more bad decisions that are forced on the developer because of his past decisions. So you end up in the situation now, you're in a food truck. So how are you cooking and serving delicious food, 3, to customers? Well, you're not. Almost the entire game this time is based around prep work. So you have your things on top that you prepare before you're at a stop. Now this prep work stuff was in the prior games, at least in 2. I'm pretty sure it was in 1 also. And you prepare things like chicken nuggets, chicken strips, the toast for French toasts. You know, shit like that. You know, like anything a restaurant would understandably have prepared, like a big turkey or a big roast beef or a meatloaf or a lasagna or just something simple to keep customers' patience level in the game to be higher so that they're happier and they don't mind waiting longer, like French fries or kale or whatever the fuck retarded shit they have. You just put salt on and throw it at them and they like it. And the game that was always like an extra thing to just keep the player feeling like they're doing something between meals. Not between meals so much as like there's downtime, but it like you always are serving somebody in the restaurant because somebody will come up and want like a corn dog. Well, you've got a corn dog ready while you're preparing this other meal. You can just push 1 and then that guy's got his corn dog. You feel good about it and it keeps you feeling like there's always stuff in motion. And then you also got to manage, you know, your treats and pre-prepped food. And it makes it a little bit more complex. But in 3, the entire game practically is dedicated to just the prep stuff. Almost every fucking food is either... Well, no. Let me restart that sentence. Every fucking food in the game is prepared in advance. You either are doing the prep things on top to prepare the food entirely, or you are preparing to-go orders somehow that you have before you're even at the next stop. Because this game, instead of serving customers, it's like, I assumed before I got it from the free thing, before I downloaded and installed it, when I had heard about it when it was first coming out, like, oh, it's a food truck thing, I was like, whatever, sure. I assumed it would be like you're a food truck, like in real life, where you're stopped for the entire day in one spot, and you're serving customers all day from that food truck. I thought it was just going to be that kind of change, where it's the same game again like the tower, but this time you're in a truck, parked in a spot. Instead, in this game, you are 90% of the level, each level, driving. You are just sitting there watching the world go by between these metal bars like you're a prisoner, waiting and 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 prepping 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 and to go prepping. And once you get to the stop, which there's, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 or however many stops that level, it finally lets you serve food. And you serve food to the customers. And then you leave. And you're sitting there again, waiting and waiting and prepping and getting to-go orders ready. And to make it even worse, they've simplified it in a way that makes it stupid and loses the challenge, I guess, part of the challenge. You can just press control now, and it'll give every order that's ready out to everybody who wants that. So if you have 4 dishes prepared, and 7 people want that, one of those 4 dishes, all of them want dishes from those 4 prepared things, you just push control, and it finishes them all. So almost the entire game is dedicated to preparing for selling the food. Then you just press control, and then you go on to the next part. Prepare to sell the food, press control, move on to the next part, do it again. There is no part where you are cooking, serving, deliciousing. You are just prepping, which fits because the developer probably preps his wife for her bowl, and that's all you do the whole game. And it really ruins the pacing and that high pace, high stress environment that the game was meant to be. But it's not calm and relaxed either. If you want that, you know, you could play 2 in the relaxed mode, the Zen mode, I think it's called. And you could still progress the game and everything. Or on the easier modes, or just at your Cook Serve Delicious restaurant in 2 or 1, and just do the menu you want, and do the relaxed mode, and you just have a nice time, calm down, giving food out. This is not relaxing, nor is it exciting and high stress. Let's just go with that. Because I don't know what tensity. It's not a word, is it? High tension. It just sucks, and it's so bland to look at. You're just looking at nothing. Like here, there we go. There. You're seeing more than you would in a game, but it's close enough. Imagine looking at this for an entire video game. Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the part where you slather it in Black Lives Matter stupid fucking fists in the air, even though that's not a Black Lives Matter thing. It's called BLM in the game. But it's not, and I hate that they've taken that. It's ironic that they've culturally appropriated this to mean Black Lives Matter when it has nothing to do with black people at all, and it's been around for ages. They just steal everything. And then, you all gotta throw in the trans flag everywhere. Gotta throw in trans hearts everywhere. Gotta throw in the gay flags all over too. Gotta just put gay flags everywhere. Oh, and the food. The food. You know what the food is? Is it cheeseburgers? Is it nuggets? Is it steak? Is it baked potatoes? Some of it, yes, that's there. But in this woke wagon that you're driving around all around town in destroyed America because the white man is evil, what are you serving? Well, of course, you're serving America's favorites. Like, let's see, I had to write these down. Horizontalies? You love horizontalies, don't you? What about jalebi? Do you love jalebi? Does your mom make a great jalebi? What about zrazy? I love a good zrazy on a Saturday morning. And you cannot forget, I am Goreng, which, as far as I know, is just a location in Shadowbringers in Final Fantasy XIV.
Arang. From this parched earth, the nation of Nabath, Arang once rose.
And that's the food you're serving, because of course it is. Because this game, this is the biggest problem with this game. This game is not about cooking and serving and deliciousing. This is a game of woke bullshit. Instead of being like the last 2 games where you're just, you know, it's about, you know, the high tension and also the accuracy with your fingers and all this and that. It's a game about providing you proof that the creator of this game is woke. And he's virtue signaling every direction at all times. So what food do you serve? Stuff from developing nations and third world countries. You know, African mosquito patties. You're not serving real food. You're serving shit nobody cares about, nobody's heard of, and nobody would ever eat in American history at any point in time for any reason. Because it proves, oh, I'm cultured, I'm diverse, I love diversity, and I'm cultured. Because I'm eating jalebi with zrazy and amarang. Instead of I'm eating a steak and a baked potato with you know, a cheesecake. In my fucking woke wagon with my BLM, trans, and gay flags all over. Because that's how woke I am. That's how woke and cultured and virtue signal. That's how much better I am than you. Because my truck is covered in gay shit. And you know, all political shit with no basis and has nothing to do with food. And I looked through the stuff you can add onto the truck, the things. Can you add now? Maybe it's because I was too early in the game, but immediately you can unlock and put the Black Lives Matter, the trans, the gay. Is there a little cheeseburger stand, like a little cheeseburger statue? Is there a French fries? Is there a soda? Is there, I don't know, the tower, like a model of the tower you used to serve? Something relevant or food relevant? No. Just homo flags. That was an accidental slip up of words. That wasn't meant as a bad word. Homo flags all over the truck, and Black Lives Matter all over the truck. And you don't even get to decorate the outside, as far as I've seen. And I'm not gonna see, because I'm not gonna keep playing this game. Because that's the thing. So you can say, oh, why are you so focused on this? Just ignore it. Well, one, I can't. Because, let's see. For one, I can't because it's stupid. Two, I can't because it's retarded. And three, I can't because it does impact the entire video game as a video game. It explains why the pacing's so bad. It explains why the gameplay's so bad. It explains why the setting is so bland and lackluster and boring and shitty. It explains why everything about this game is such a step down. Because in the past, it's been about the game. This time, he was focused on making a story so that he could say America sucks. So that he could have an excuse to put a bunch of gay, trans, and Black Lives Matter shit in it, woke shit. And for an excuse to put in a bunch of food nobody has ever heard of in America, even though it takes place in America. And that's what the focus is on. Instead of focusing, and even the gameplay, instead of focusing on, you know, this high-tense environment, high-stress environment, high-speed environment, and high-accuracy environment of the player, pushing the keys all right, not messing up, it's focused on ADHD bullshit with everything flashing, booming, exploding, everything is going off all the time. There is never a moment where nothing is moving. There's always flashing lights, noises crackling at you, signs, you know, the world going by real fast between your little bars of view. And of course, the control button thing where it gives everybody food, that was done on purpose because it's basically celebrating you doing nothing. You do your prep work and you get there, you just press control 5 times and you're done. And maybe you prep a few things at the time that you didn't have ready or didn't have enough spots for. And that's it. Because they were going for, look, flashing lights, flashing lights, flashing lights. It's like a shitty YouTube or TikTok thing where it's like, oh, that's so hashtag satisfying. Hashtag satisfying. And who's going to do that? Somebody obsessed with woke shit and retard shit. You know, it's the entire game is developed around that concept. So it matters a lot. It's not just nitpicking and bitching about politics. Those politics destroyed the game and what it should have been and what it could have been. Because he was so focused on it, it's nothing else. Everything else fails. Everything else blows ass. So ultimately, I very highly recommend 1 and 2 still. I'm not, you know, oh, don't support this. I don't care. Because the reason I hate CSD3 is because it sucks, not because of his woke bullshit. I can ignore that. I'm able to do that. I don't care. I have to deal with everybody being fucking retarded like that. You know, you have to just deal with it at some point. Now, I'll bitch about it like I have been. But as a video game, it's bad. it's because of that stuff, making bad decisions from that stuff. But overall, it doesn't matter. You can ignore that stuff. You can agree with that stuff. You can want all the trans flags and the homo flags and the Black Lives Matter flags and the portrait of George Floyd, I'm sure, at some point. You can want all that. And that's fine, but the game's shit still. It doesn't matter. The game's still bad regardless. So it's just a bad video game. So 1 and 2 are still great, though. I'd still very highly recommend them if you're interested, anyway, in a fast-paced and challenging game, because they are difficult. So if you're not good with your fingers and the keyboard and stuff, maybe watch some videos, see if you'd like it, or if there's a demo, or if it's on sale. It's usually pretty cheap, especially 1, but 2 is also like $5 sometimes. It's fun. It is fun. You can play it on chill mode and calm down or whatever. I'm not, it's not for everybody because it is a challenging game and it's a keyboard thing. And you can play it with controller. I don't know how the fuck people do that though. But this Cook Serve Delicious 3 just shouldn't have gotten made. In every single way, it's a lesser game than the predecessors. The gameplay is less intuitive, less rewarding, less involved. Just prep. The pacing of the levels is terrible. You only deal with customers a few fucking times ever. And there's more of a focus on this retard story, these cringe characters, and the liberal bullshit than there is on food or cooking or the gameplay challenge. There's more focus on putting the homo flags than there is on flipping burgers. And that shouldn't be the case of the game about cooking. And you can twist it all you want and everything else. And again, though, the game is just bad regardless. Because the game wasn't focused on during development. What was focused on was Googling for esoteric niche food nobody's heard of, like poo poo pom pom, whatever the fuck they're called. Let me look at my horizontals, whatever the fuck that is, horizontals, because that makes the developer feel more woke and get more virtue signal points from people who are like, oh, I love that. My family from loves that food. It's a food only in that city in Pumping Pao. And we love that food. And that's what he was going for. He was going for that more than a good game. He spent all his time Googling to pretend he's all cultured. And this was a completely just a waste of a game. It was lackluster, unfun. And that was even before I noticed the food truck stuff and before, the decorations and before I even noticed what kind of food I was preparing. It already felt bad. Even before all the politics stuff, even before all the virtue signaling and the food being all this shit, made up bullshit that nobody cares about when nobody would ever buy. I don't need the Haitian mud cookies. That's not what people eat in America. So why is the American food truck selling it? But even before I saw that stuff, the tutorial and stuff, I wasn't paying attention to what I was making. I was just trying to get the game going so I could play. And it already felt immediately bad. It didn't feel like Cook Serve Delicious. And so, it's just not a game worth getting to me. It's even for free, I wouldn't recommend bothering to download it. It's not worth it. It's not a good game at all. And the only thing to get out of it is if you're a hardcore liberal or something, I guess you could have fun for 3 seconds putting trans flags all over your truck and then realize the game still sucks anyway. So fuck off, and fuck off.